Hi, I'm Stephen Capsuto. I am a medical and literary translator, and today we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT to create a glossary on a topic about which you have very few entries in your term base already. Since I sometimes do pharmaceutical translation, let's imagine that I've been asked to translate an article about this medication. Now, usually for medications, one of the places I would go for English-Spanish terminology, since that's the example we're going to use is Spanish-English, usually I would go to U.S. government sources because a lot of the U.S. government documentation about medications is bilingual English and Spanish. But this particular formulation is not approved in the U.S. So we're going to go to the website of the European Medicines Agency, which has fantastic detailed documentation, but of course it's going to be European Spanish to European English, and I'm translating into US English, but it's going to give me a jumping off point. So we go to the European Medicines Agency page for this medication, Refixia, which is used to treat hemophilia type B. And I've never done translations about hemophilia. I've done other blood-related things, but not this. So what I'm going to do is go to this page, and then I'm going to download the Spanish and English versions of the technical sheet for this drug. And that's about 50 pages of documentation, so we should be able to extract some really good terminology from there. So I download the PDF of the Spanish version, I download the PDF of the English version, and then I go into ChatGPT, and I upload the two PDFs, and then I write a prompt. And here's what I tell it. I want to create a bilingual English-Spanish glossary based on the official technical information about a medication authorized by the European Medicines Agency, the EMA. The two PDF files are attached, and I want to extract the text from both PDF files. I want to identify the relevant technical terminology related to this medication, including, and I give specific examples, I want to align each English term with its Spanish equivalent using the parallel structure of the documents, and then build a glossary in a 3-column table as follows. Column 1, English term. Column 2, Spanish term. Column 3, the source of the terminology, and then I put in quotation marks exactly what I wanted to say. 2022 EMA documentation on Refixia. And then, and this is something I didn't realize you could do in ChatGPT, generate a downloadable XLSX spreadsheet. In other words, an Excel format spreadsheet containing the 3-column glossary sorted alphabetically by the English term, and then I talk about the formatting, and I submit the prompt. And after it asks me a bunch of questions about exactly how I want this to go, it does finally spit out this extremely useful Excel spreadsheet, which once I've edited it, I'm going to go through, I'm going to verify the terminology, I'm going to make sure that the English terminology is used in the US. I already see bacteremia with the British spelling, so I'm going to have to fix that. And then I'm going to, of course, run it past a subject expert to make sure this is terminology I can use. But this is a great jumping off point. We've got the English term in the first column, we've got the Spanish term in the second column, and then the source. Okay, now let's try something a little more complicated that draws on multiple sources. Let's say I want to create a Spanish-English glossary about healthcare insurance in the US, and I want it to draw from multiple sources, multiple glossaries that are online, but only official glossaries from the US government, from states governments, or from city governments. So I tell it to do this. This is a prompt. It's going to be very similar to the other prompt. You can freeze frame and look at this. And then it gives me this. I've asked it to, in the 3rd column, say exactly what glossary it took the terms from, and it has done that. It has done a really good job. Now, the problem here is I don't love all of the official government translations for things, right? They've translated catastrophic health plan as plan de salud catastrófico, which sounds much worse in Spanish than it does in English. It makes it sound like the plan itself is catastrophic, and yeah, a lot of healthcare plans in the US are catastrophic, but that's not what we want to say. So I'm probably going to change that term. But again, it's a quick way to get a jumping off point for a term base. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below the video here and I will answer them. Take care.